I just sort of sat there quite stunned for a while, and then thankfully my husband stuck his head back through the curtain, and that is when I burst into tears and said, "They think I've got cancer." Hi, I'm Sophie, and I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia when I was 29 years old and 6 months pregnant. I was 6 months pregnant and started getting various symptoms, but a lot of which were masked by pregnancy. So I was unsure if it was pregnancy related or something else, to be honest. I just assumed that that was what pregnancy was like. I just felt really exhausted and felt sick. So that may well have been the pregnancy. But then I started getting shortness of breath, and that got really quite bad. I would consider myself to be quite a fit and healthy person. I used to go to the gym quite regularly, but all of a sudden I was just unable to do all of that. I used to struggle walking into work. Even walking from one end of the office to the other was a struggle. And I remember thinking, surely this isn't normal. And I'd probably say one of the other big things at the time I didn't realise, but I had quite a lot of bruising. And quite a few bruises, like nasty bruises on my legs, and they were sort of, looking back, they were unexplained really. I thought maybe I'd just bumped my leg on my desk at work or something, but no, it obviously was more than that. I kept sort of waiting for that day to feel a little better, and I didn't. And it was actually my mum that pushed me to go to see the midwife and then the doctor. I made an appointment with the midwife and went along and basically explained that I was experiencing a lot of breathlessness and I was struggling walking, that I'd wake up in the morning and would be struggling to catch my breath, which was quite frightening. And she didn't seem particularly alarmed by it. She seemed to think that maybe I had a long baby and the baby was actually pushing up on my diaphragm. But she did say to me at the end of the meeting, if you're still not sort of happy with that, then I would advise you to make a doctor's appointment. And thankfully, that's what I did. This is the first time I've ever seen my GP because I was new to the area and it was a brand new surgery. He listened to my symptoms and my concerns and actually straight away went to feel my pulse on my wrist, and he immediately said, "Your heart rate is ridiculously fast," and listened to my chest, and obviously he had some concerns, and I think he thought I had a blood clot on my chest, and he made an immediate appointment at Southmead Hospital for me to go and have a chest scan, and he told me not to drive home. I called my husband, he left work, and again, he thought it was all a bit dramatic, but we went with it, and he drove me to the hospital. They took me down for a scan, and I did have something on my chest. And again, I was still really calm at this point. I was sat on a ward with some other women, and we were sort of like laughing and joking. I didn't for 1 minute think that it was going to be leukemia. And it wasn't until the doctor came back and said, "Actually, we'd like you to take you down for a biopsy of your chest." And then later that day, they actually came back and said, "We do think that you have cancer." I just didn't really know how to react to that. I was on my own, and I think like I said, I didn't cry. I just sort of sat there quite stunned for a while. And then thankfully my husband stuck his head back through the curtain, and that is when I burst into tears and said, "They think I've got cancer." The next day, the oncologist came around, sat with me and said, "We've got something called leukemia." And then we just had a conversation about what next, and the fact that I was pregnant and what were we going to do?